Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Coding with Dom. We're going to start by going over the two types of loops. The two types of loops in Python are for and while. So we're going to start off by making a list called primes and filling it up with the prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7. So let's go ahead and firstly go over a for loop. For prime in primes. Print prime. So as you can see over here, we're iterating through this list, and for each item, we're calling each item in this instance a prime. And now, with the prime variable, we have scope over the prime variable right here, so we're able to print it. Let's go ahead and hit run and see how that works. As you can see, we're going through each prime and printing off each prime number. Let's go ahead and comment this out. In order to comment out code, you just highlight the lines of code you want to comment out and do Control/. Continuing on with the for loop, we're going to write for x in range 5. Now I want to talk a little bit about the range function. It's 0 based, so it starts at 0 and gives you a list of numbers up to the range that you specified. However, it does not include the number you specified. It includes every number up to that number. So if we write 5 over here, it's going to give you every number from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to write here is print x, and as you can see, we go ahead and print off 0 through 4. Now moving on to the next one, for x in range 3, 6. So this range function is going to work very similarly. Once again, we're going to iterate throughout this list of numbers which range gives us, starting at 3, going up to 6, but excluding 6. So what are we expecting here? We're expecting 3, 4, and 5. So when I hit run, that's what we get, 3, 4, and 5. Very similarly, if we're given a range from 3 to 8, and stepping to, we're going to be given a list. This range function is going to give us a list from 3 to 8 in increments of 2. So let's go ahead and try that out. We get 3, 5, and 7. That's because we're starting at 3 and we're incrementing by 2. We're incrementing by 2 again. If we increment by 2 again, we're outside of our bounds. That's why we get a list from 3 to 7. We're printing out each x in that list. And now let's go ahead and learn about the while loop. Let's go specify an integer called count. Now we're going to write while count is less than 5, colon, print count. And now we're going to increment count by 1. Count plus equals 1, which means every time we go over this while loop, we're going to be adding 1 to count. So let's go see how that works. I'm going to write clear here to clear that out. Now as you can see, we start at 0, we're going to the while loop, we print count, and then we increment count. So we keep doing this until we're on count is 4, so we're still less than 5. We print off 4, now count is 5. So while count is less than 5, this condition is now false, so we exit the while loop. Let's go ahead and copy this block, Control-C, Control-V to copy. Instead of specifying our condition here, let's just say while true. Now for while true, what this is going to do is it's going to continue the while loop forever because this condition will never be false. So let's go ahead and try that out. As you can see, the while loop is printing off a count with no stopping it. So it's going to be running this program indefinitely. So we're going to do Control-C to terminate the application. Control-C in the terminal to terminate the application. So now, let's go ahead and add what's called a break. So after we increment the count, let's say if count is greater than or equal to 5, then go ahead and break out of the while loop. So let's try that again. So if we comment this out, we try that again. As you can see, we go from 0 to 4. And we actually break out of the while loop and we are still able to exit the while loop. Continuing along with that train of thought, let's go ahead and see what a continue looks like in Python. So we're going to write for x in range 10. So as we know, we could have said 0, 10, 2 in order to step from 0 to 10, counting up by 2. Let's see a different way to do that. So we're going to just say for x in range 10, and then we're going to say if x mod 2 equals 0, continue, and then print x. So this is going to essentially do the same thing as stepping, but instead we're actually iterating through each item of range 10, which includes even and odd numbers. However, when we enter in the for loop, we're actually performing this if statement to check to see if x mod 2 is equal to 0. So if x is even, then we just go ahead and continue through the for loop and go to the next item, and we do not print that item. And with that, we're going to go ahead and specify an exercise. So, exercise 3.1, we're going to go ahead and do the following. Write a Python program which iterates from integers 1 to 100. For multiples of 3, print fizz instead of the number, and for multiples of 5, print buzz. For numbers which are multiple of both 3 and 5, print fizzbuzz. So I expect all of the students who are taking this class to go ahead and complete this exercise. Okay, now moving to the next section, let's go ahead and see how functions are defined in Python. We're going to start off by the first function, define myfunc, print, yay, I have my first function. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and define another function. We're going to call it define myfunc with args. We're going to have name, comma, greeting, colon, print, hello, comma, %s, exclamation point. This is my second function. I wish you a %s. Now after the quotation, we're going to write a comma, another %. Now in a set of parentheses, we're going to say name, comma, greeting. Awesome. All right, function number 3. We're going to say define sum two numbers. Argument 1 is going to be A, and argument 2 is going to be B. Colon, return A plus B. Great. Slight correction, we're going to remove the comma here, and the spaces here. There we go. So the first function we're going to call is going to be simple. So in order to call a function, we're just simply going to write myfunc with the empty parentheses. We're going to hit run. Yay, I have my first function. We called it successfully. Now let's go ahead and call the second function, myfunc with args. I'm going to write my name here. What I suggest for you to do for this exercise is to write your own name. And I wish you a great day. You can also come up with your own greeting here too. So let's go ahead and run this. Hello, Dom. This is my second function. I wish you a great day. Lastly, we're going to go ahead and call the function sum two numbers. Say x equals sum two numbers. I'm going to say 5 and 3 are going to be my arguments. So now x is going to hold the values of the return of 5 plus 3. So now let's go ahead and print x. And as you can see, we get 8. Let's go ahead and comment this out and specify an exercise. Here's the exercise. For exercise 3.2, Rewrite the FizzBuzz program to accept an integer as an argument. Have the program iterate from 1 to the integer that is passed into the function. So in exercise 3.1, what we originally did was have the program iterate from 1 to 100, and there was no function or arguments being passed in. Now we're going to go from 1 to the integer that we're passing into the function. So go ahead and try the following. Try 100 and make sure it works the same way as the other one, and then also try 300. Maybe you can add in some more of your own test cases. Let's go ahead and talk about classes. We can make a class called myClass and put a variable inside of it. Hello. We can define the function within the class, self. And then we can go ahead and say, hello, this is a message inside of this class. So now we can actually define instances of this class. So my object X equals my class, and then my object Y equals my class. So now we have two instances of this. Now I can actually change the instance variable of the second object. So instead of hello, we're going to write hi. Now let's go ahead and print off my object X dot variable. And we're also going to print my object Y dot variable. We're going to go see what happens now. As you can see, we didn't change the my object X's variable of the of my class, but we did change my object Y. So that's why we have both hello and we have hi. And in a very similar way, we can go ahead and access the function as well. And that's how you access the class function. Let's go see how dictionaries work in Python. Phone book equals squiggly braces. Now over here we can say the phone book for John is equal to 248-555-1212. Phone book for Jack is going to be 248-867-5309. Phone book for Jill, similar idea. 586-555-1212. So we can go ahead and print off this whole phone book. Now, as you can see, we print off every item in the dictionary. We can also define these kinds of items right in initialization. So phone book equals John, colon, then we can write his number, comma, Jack, colon, then we can write his number, comma, Jill, colon, then we can write her number. And we don't end off with a comma on this one, so we don't need these anymore. And we can still print the same exact way. Now let's go ahead and see how to iterate over this. For key comma value, so we're going to write name comma number in phone book dot items colon print the phone number of %s is %s. Over here, we're going to write a percent symbol, and then we're going to write an empty parentheses. Now we're going to say name, comma, number. We're going to run that. It's going to go through each key value pair in phonebook.items and then print off the statement for us. Now, what if instead of having strings over here, we actually had numbers instead? So the only thing we're really going to change is this percent symbol S. We're going to change it to percent symbol D. Run that, same idea. Now let's say John, for some reason, wants his number removed from the phone book. That's pretty simple. We're just going to go ahead and write del phone book John. Let's go ahead and rerun that. Now John's removed from the phone book. Another way we can do it, instead of writing DEL, is we can simply write phone book. We can simply write phone book dot pop John. Same idea. Now, for exercise 3.3, what I want you guys to do is go ahead and create a dictionary called email book and add your name and email to the dictionary. Now, let's say we have a sentence. And that sentence is going to say, my name is Dom and Dom is my name. We go ahead and print off that sentence. What's it going to say? My name is Dom and Dom is my name. Now, let's go ahead, instead of printing off the sentence, let's go ahead and print off the split of the sentence. We're going to split it for each space. Now we have an array. The first item in the array is my, second is name, is Dom, and Dom is my name. Okay, great. So now let's go ahead and learn about the set function. If we perform the set function on this, we're going to get a set, which basically is a list with no duplicate entries. So when we hit run, name is and my Dom. So what happened is all the duplicate entries with a set, you can't include that. A cool feature of set is, let's say we had two sets, a set of John, Jack, and Jill, and then B is a set of just Jack and Jill. What we can do is we can go ahead and define a C set where we get A dot intersection B. So what the C set is going to give us when we print that off, it's going to give us just Jack and Jill. That's because the intersection gives you the items that are in both sets. Now there are other set functions that you can do, but I'll let you guys look into these on your own. We're going to go ahead and define a sentence. A quick brown fox jumps over a lazy dog. We're going to get all the words for that sentence. So we're going to do sentence.split. Now we're going to make a new array. We're going to call it word lengths. Empty array. So we're going to make a for loop for each word in words. We're going to go ahead and append to the word lengths the length of each word. That's if the word is not equal to the tab over here. We're going to go ahead and print off all the words, and we're going to go ahead and print the word lengths. Word lengths. Okay, so as you can see, we print off all the words. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, and we have the word lengths except for the. Now, all list comprehension really is syntactic sugar to write something in a different notation or in a different way. So let's go ahead and comment out everything from line 176 to line 180. So word lengths. The way we can write this using list comprehension is saying word underscore lengths equals. So in square brackets, we're going to say length of the word for word in words if word is not equal to the. We're going to go ahead and run that. Same idea, same thing. It's just we're writing in a different notation. So going over here, this is still the list that we're moving through. This is each item in the list. And then over here, we can write the condition of what to include or what not to include in when iterating through our words list. And then over here, that is what actually gets put in the new array. So that's how we can write list comprehension. You can kind of see all of the different ways that you can rewrite some of your for loops. Now, I want to talk a little bit about generators. So generators, we can use them to create iterators, but a little bit differently than we're used to. So they're pretty much functions that return a set of items that we can iterate through one at a time in a very unique way. So when we're iterating through them, we're running our generator, and then we can yield the items back one at a time. So let's go see a little bit about how that works. Import random, define lottery. This is going to return 6 numbers between 1 and 40. For I in range 6, yield random.randint 1, 40. Now, this is going to return the 7th number between 1 and 15. Yield random.randint 1, 15. So now when we're running through our for loop for random underscore number in lottery, print, and the next number is ... percent symbol D, percent random number. Let's go see what happens here. So as you can see, when we're going from our first 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're getting a number 1 through 40, but for our 7th number, we get a number 1 through 15. Now, our yield keyword is actually giving our generated item. So I think this is a good place to leave off for today. Please make sure to do the exercises. Thank you, and I'll see you again.